We are.
Hey, here we are. Testing, testing.
We are.
Hey, here we are. Testing, testing. All right, sounds like
We are. Good.
Hey. All right, welcome everybody. We are here. Radical Retros Crypto Chat. We're going to be talking about Genius today. We have Shades, JMac, Mitch, and this is the first time we're doing this with OBS. So if there's any latency, lagging, or issues, bear with us, and also let us know in the chat either on YouTube or Telegram. That's the Genius Telegram, Jenny Crypto. And welcome everyone who's watching. Hey guys, how's it going?
Good to be here.
Excited.
Oh,
Thanks
good. We've
for
had some sun in the UK today. Look, it's a lot darker. It's a lot darker than it looks outside this window, but it's very nice.
Got to enjoy that while it lasts, Mitch.
We've had the worst. We've had the worst
Big
summer.
pause.
We've had the worst. We have had the worst summer ever.
Shame, man.
So while I'm letting the troops know that we're good and we're live, if you guys want to go around, we'll start with Shades, and if you guys want whatever you want to tell us about yourself on how long you've been in crypto, if you want to tell us where you're from, and just give a little introduction about yourselves, that'd be awesome. Keep it short and sweet. So Shades, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I'm from the US. I've heard of crypto or Bitcoin a while back. I did not take a plunge. When I did, I got saved by the bell from Mt. Gox Ponzi. Missed that opportunity, but then, Bitcoin itself as money did not really appeal to me because I wasn't researching money at that time. But when Ethereum came and it allowed us to do some form of programmable money, then I said, okay, maybe that may amount to something. So I jumped in once Ethereum was there. A little later, of course, but I've been in crypto since then, and I'm just enjoying the ride.
That's awesome.
Cool. Hey,
Go on,
so
Jay.
all right. Thanks, Mitch. So I'm Jay, and I'm from Cape Town, South Africa, and also similar to Shades, been into crypto for some time, but never really took it seriously until COVID hit. Looking for new opportunities. Monero was actually my introduction to the crypto space, but only really jumped onto it and grasped it with both hands a lot later. So I'd say only really been deep into it for the last 3 years. And Genius, definitely, I wish I had found it even sooner, but here I am. So good to be here.
Welcome.
So yeah, hey, I'm Mitch. I got into crypto quite accidentally. Ultimately, I worked for a global bank, and I was made redundant in early 2019, and ultimately I got my redundancy payment, which was pretty healthy, and I wanted to do something with it. I wanted it to work for me. So one thing I did was take half and start a business, which is still running really successfully. My wife quit her career and she runs that now. And the other half I took into crypto, and it turned out really well. That it was actually the bottom, or quite close to the bottom of the market, unbeknownst to me, in sort of 2019. So I work in IT. I've got a computer science background. Got into some early L1s, made some X's. Be honest here, very much divested into Hex. Again, made really good gains over there. And yeah, I'm really interested in store of values, and I've studied many projects, many cryptos, many I've seen multiple different projects, and nothing has captured my interest or my imagination quite like Genie.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's exciting
Yeah,
stuff.
nice.
Quick background about myself. I got
Oh,
into,
we've lost you, Chrissy.
Chrissy, you're muted.
of course. Quick quick background about myself is, and I've said it before, is I got into crypto the beginning of 2020, and of course that's around the time COVID hit. And everyone was panicking. There was a little bit of a, you know, that bull market kick, and I was getting into Bitcoin and Ethereum. Had some fun with that, learning and watching Ethereum go up, so that was fun. I was still pretty clueless and learning a lot. Um, I was still using like Coinbase and such for my wallets, and then I found Hex, and then from there, Genius, and it's I've been learning a lot from the community. You know, you guys, and just really deep diving, and and getting more of an understanding. So yeah, that's. But when Ethereum was going up, and I remember looking at my wallet and going, "Oh wow, this it's going up," and that's where I got the bug where it was like, "This happens. This really happens to people." Um, and then with Hex, it happens. So yeah, it was exciting stuff because I came from starting my life over post cancer and having a lot of issues, and really coming up from like couch hopping and such like that to being able to semi-retire on crypto. So I want to teach a lot of people about, you know, the opportunities they have in the space. Yeah, that's my story.
Yeah,
So
That's
speak.
amazing.
Thanks, man. So yeah, speaking
nice,
of
nice.
genius, speaking of genius, let's go ahead and hop to a screen share where I know we're all learning about the NFTs, and we've Shades and I spoke before on a live stream on the possibilities before it was released. Now we've been released for a few weeks now, um, and there's even opportunities to use what's called the royalty receiver. And if you're, again, Genius always has these um, little hidden treasures of being able to pay attention and have your intentions on different ways of revenue. So yeah, Shades, if you want to pick up on that a little bit, it's kind of like picking up where we left off,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's been the consistent story ever since. First there was well, at least the released store of value type of thing with miners. Then the miners were extended to use better facilities over GNFTs, right? And we're gonna see a lot more of it coming. And then GNFTs took up, took a life of their own, and they, instead of being, or in addition to being collectibles, they become integral part of the contract and the economy. And that's why we were kind of saying that, okay, well, it's just not a token, it's the entire economy that can work together and help um, people in various ways. So GNFT is just groundbreaking technology in terms of what it's going to do for miners, and royalty receiver contract is just part of this soup, right? The entire kind of the ecosystem that's going to prosper. So royalty receiver is um, you want to say it's probably like a junction, a connecting link between everything that happens in collateral vault in miners and the features that you're able to influence by spending more tokens or NFTs on your own miners or on somebody else's miners, right? So royalty receiver is kind of like a manager, a bridge between NFTs and your yield, if you want, right? The royalty receiver is essentially a part that a separate contract that receives money every time people buy NFT packs, every time people buy NFTs, all that money goes into the contract. And once it's in the contract, it basically provides you with an opportunity to deploy the money that got into the royalty receiver contract to create collateral vault miners, as well as to clear them or to settle them, much like you would do in a collateral vault for your own self. The same thing can be done over royalty receiver, only for everybody else, if you will. Right? We can dive deeper into how that works and or why it was done the way it was done. But essentially, JNFTs become its own economy. They grew up from being collectibles into being capable and able to influence your yield, right? So
Yeah.
someone had questions about the screen for royalty receiver. We can definitely go there, but I'd like to kind of hear you guys' feedback and we can dive deeper.
Yeah, sure. So I guess the first thing I wanted to know, Shades, was everything that you've said makes total sense. But if you look at the screen, the royalty, what's it called, management's screen, there's quite a lot of detail. And to understand that takes a lot of deep diving. So maybe you could share your screen and go through each element with us and exactly how someone, if they've subscribed for, say, a week by incinerating 2 GenFTs, how they essentially would be receiving their royalties. What do they need to do? Do they need to do anything at all? Or does it just automatically happen? What are each of those elements in that screen? What are they doing?
Right. So, Chrissy, I don't know if you have the visual on this or could get a visual on this.
If you
It's
want
a
to try
royalty
to
management.
if you want to try to present, and I can go ahead and put it in cinema layout for you. If you want to do it while you're speaking, if not, I can follow along with you. But
I'm gonna try. I don't have dual monitors, but let me see if hang on a second. I think I can.
I
You
noticed on
guys,
Polygon. Sorry,
you
oh,
guys
you know
see
Shades.
that?
what? I have.
I presented if you want to pick it up from there.
Okay, I was going to say also for your privacy, I have a wallet that I can
No,
use.
no, no. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I just presented the window. We can go from
Sounds
there.
good. All right, let's see. Presents, window, add stream.
Awesome.
Hello, hello.
Nice. So obviously UI will be developed a lot more, right? There's a lot of technical detail that's kind of obscure the purpose and the simplicity of it. But essentially, what I would say, what I would start with is the concept of subscription, right? Right here, there's a subscribe button, right? I don't have any NFTs at the moment on this wallet, but essentially you would have to buy NFTs to be able to work with it. So the concept of subscription is so that think of an amusement park. You go in, some parts are free for your kids to play, some parts, some parts are not. You're gonna play, you want to get on a ride, you have to pay a little bit more. And so, similar to this, if you are serious about participating in Genius Economy, there are opportunities that would work for you, but also they need to work with Genius ecosystem. Everything that is being done for miners, for NFTs, for collateral vault, for now royalty receiver is paying you, but it's also paying Genius, so Genius can burn more and distribute rewards, right? It, it's the kind of the philosophical uh, underpinning for the contract, and it's the mission. The mission is to create the economy. It benefits everybody who participates, and it benefits you specifically. So subscription kind of is an instance of that philosophy where you say, yes, I'd like to participate in the economy. Yes, I'd like to work with GNFTs, and yes, I would like to receive royalties. But for that, I'm going to have to pay some cost, right? And that cost is subscription. You get into the amusement park, you want to go in a restricted area with better rides, you'd have to pay an entrance fee. The entrance fee for subscription is two GNFTs. You'd have to go to the market, buy GNFTs, spend whatever they cost, maybe an NFT pack with 4 NFTs or 16 NFTs, whatever the case may be, but you need to have them, right? Once you spend money on buying NFT packs, the money that you spend goes into the royalty receiver as a common pool. JMax spends $5 on it. Mitch spends $5 on it. Shade spends $5 on it. $15 equivalent go into the royalty receiver. Right now, you have $15 in the royalty receiver, a common pool of money, from somebody purchasing NFTs. Each individual person having obtained the pack and having unwrapped the pack would have 4 to 16 individual NFTs, and they can spend those NFTs on subscription on that entry fee into the amusement park area. Once you're there, you are subscribed. Well, I said 2, but it could be up to 7. So 2 per week and 7 per month. So let's just say you want to say, okay, I have a plan. I now kind of observe the royalty receiver for a while, and I do see that some money can be generated from it. I'd like to try my hand and pay for 2 weeks of subscription into it. I go into subscribe, I select my 2 NFTs that I like or I don't like to basically be burned for the benefit of you participating and others to benefit, right? You spend in it, and you spend in it by incinerating. You've heard the term incineration. It basically is burning, but burning with purpose, right? So we can go into what happens with that, but from the user perspective, you burn the 2 NFTs or you burn the 7 NFTs. You buy yourself entrance for 2 weeks or a month into that ecosystem, right? And that's where the fun begins. Once you end up, subscribing, you are getting the right to uh, to deploy miners on royalty receiver, or to clear miners, or to settle miners on royalty receiver. The way you would know what you want to do here is by looking at the contracts in here. There's a bunch of contracts. Don't mind this area. This area just letting you know what everything is. The Genius contract address, the stability pool, which is the collateral vault, the miners, GNFT, penalty. For all intents and purposes, you don't really need to know anything about that. In about 90 days, you will need to know more about this area, right? We're going to get into this a little later, but for now, as a person who's coming in within first 90 days, you don't need to know anything about that. What you do need to know about is this area, this part right here: the balance, the token, and the address. The balance is the amount of Genie generated from NFT sales, the equivalent of those $15 that we've talked about, that are available in royalty receiver for you to participate in with your economic activities. Obviously, the token is Genie, and obviously the address of the Genius contract, right? Now, what do you want to do here? And you also have DAI, right? The contract for DAI, it doesn't have any balance because NFTs are not, before the collateral vault upgrades come, the native tokens and the stability tokens are not available to engage with. So native is 0, and whatever else is stable on that collateral vault is also 0. The only thing that is available right now is Genius, but the mechanics will be exactly for anything else that is supported by the collateral vault as it is for Genius. So you would still have the balance, you would still have the token. The balance may be 0 or maybe more, depending whether somebody showed up and basically bought NFT pack with DAI, or bought an NFT pack with Ethereum or BNB token, or wherever the case may be on that chain. Right now, we're working with Genius here. So what you want to do is you want to say, okay, I'm going to calculate that they have about 3 million Genie available. Okay, what can I do with it? Well, I can deploy the amount of Genius and create a collateral miner on behalf of just royalty receiver itself. Not when you go into your capital, right, and you say, I've got $15, I want to deploy my collateral miner and sit there for 90 to whatever days, and then clear it. Here it's a common pool, and the first to get here gets to deploy the capital. And for you, if you get there, you calculate your odds for fees, for network fees, for your interest in deploying this small amount, or wait for more money to show up until you are interested in deploying. The first person to do it gets 16% for doing that. So
Right.
royalty receiver basically says, I don't know what you guys want to do with it. I'm just going to present you with an opportunity, and I don't want to manage it, but I'm going to incentivize you to keep creating things by paying you 16% of this almost 4 million Genie, right? And so you start calculating. Let's just suppose that it's viable for you and you want to do it, right? You want to receive what is it, 390, about 500, 500,000 of Genie from your deployment. Let's just say it works for you. You take the contract and you copy it and you paste it here, and you want to say add token. I'm sorry, I'm very wrong. This is not where you want to do it. Let me refresh. You want to go to the next one. So the one that I showed right now is when you basically clear it out in 90 days. But what you want to do is, hang on a second, take this guy and paste it here.
Right.
Where it says deploy token, right? By deploying token, you're taking the entire percentage, the entire kind of like collateral of Genius sitting in the royalty receiver, and create a small or large, or whatever the case may be, miner out of it. Don't use force. Force basically says, I know the restrictions that are placed on that miner, it being smaller than the average miner size, and therefore I'm not going to get the 16%, but I want to be benevolent and I still want to deploy it. Most people will not be benevolent. Most people want to get some economic interest out of it. So don't do anything with force. But essentially, when you do this and click deploy, you are going to create a collateral vault miner, and you're going to see 16% ending up being in your wallet in the form of either Genius or any other token being supported by the collateral vault. It's going to fail now because I don't
There's
have
no
any
collateral vault.
Well, that works. The collateral vault that is there now, it works. It's just you are not going to receive anything because I'm not going to receive it because I don't have any GNFTs to deploy, right? And once you do GNFT deploy, first you subscribe, you spend 2 to 7 NFTs, and then you spend one, I believe it's one GNFT, additional to deploy that. So you've spent 3 GNFTs to take one opportunity, and potentially a lot more, maybe daily.
Yeah.
So that's the gist of it for why you would want to do it and how you would want to deploy that. Right?
Shades, I've got a quick question. When you hit deploy, do you determine the time or the length of the miner, or is that determined by the contract?
90 days. The reason why it's done in 90 days, I'm thinking, is because you want to keep perpetually burning more and more, right? And so you don't want to. It's kind of like the economy needs to reach its velocity, and so people are interested in clearing miners where they do end mining here. It needs to be a shorter time frame, right? Plus the question, if you start thinking about it, what is the question of in the collateral vault? You have the question of, you have the two other stats, the stat of clearing and settling, right? You also have somebody who can come in and settle the your deployment on the other side, and you have all the statistics on it. You can kind of play on that side. In royalty receiver, you don't necessarily have that functionality economically, so everything is under royalty receiver badge, right? It's just a miner of 3,996,400 that gets to be deployed. That's it, right? And then you say, I am going to wait until a slew of miners get deployed, and over time, in 90 days, I'm going to be showing up, evaluating this guy, how many miners I can cancel or clear or settle or end, right? What it is going to do for me, if I think, if I know that I'm going to be paid 14% of anything that I settle, right? So here is going to be, hey, there's a new miner that is available to be settled of the amount of, I don't know, 15 million or 20 million, right? Then you basically come here and you say, okay, well, miner ID is 1. I'm going to inspect my miner and see, the size of it, right? And I'm going to determine how to do it. But all of it right now is at 90 days interval.
So the collateral that's in that wallet right now, if you were to deploy it in a miner for 90 days, you take the 16%. The yield it earns and the Genie collateral, does that come back into this royalty receiver? So then the next guy is looking to burn a GenFT to essentially restake it?
The yield is left with the royalty receiver. I'd have to read the code. There's some version of the code that was posted on GitHub. I'm still waiting for the updated one. I believe some part of the yield is left with royalty receiver, and it's used for management, for deployment, for burning. Because remember, we said the philosophy is to burn as much as we can possibly burn. I'd have to read the code. So if the yield, think of it this way: royalty receiver benevolently competes with collateral vault miners for yield of 4%. And we, as collateral vault miners, agree that royalty receiver would be a player, and we would like to give him the yield for burning more. So if before, let's just say we have 100 collateral vault miners, and they all get a portion of the 4% per year. Well, royalty receiver joins that club and says, I'm going to take 10% of that yield for myself. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to instead provide the opportunity to burn more and provide the opportunity for people to earn more. So the 16% and the 14%, and then, there's an underlying story where part of it goes to the beneficiary, the OA beneficiary as well, right? So it goes to three places: the burn, the reward, and the OAB. To facilitate the split into 3 places, you have to be able to get some more yield out of the collateral vault. For you as a user who comes in and gets 16% or 14% for ending it, you're not concerned with how much you're going to make. You're making a flat fee of 16% as you're deploying, and 14 fees as you're ending. The rest is none of the concern of the user who does that. They get basically flat fee. The rest gets burned or distributed to either what do you call it? rewards for active miners, because let's just say, there is a miner available. Let's just say it expired 90 days. Well, it has served 90 days. The 7 days of grace period has already come and gone. Nobody was interested in ending that miner. Uh, whatever reason, maybe on Ethereum there's large fee to do it. Maybe there's not enough collateral to end the miner, and just sits there past 7 days. Then everybody or anybody can come in without any subscription and end the miner as a cleanup task, right? So your subscription gives you a first right of ending the miner, first right of deploying the miner, but then it's free for all once it goes into the public, right? And because the miner is the miner, whether it's the collateral vault miner or advanced miner, it can be late, and so the fees and the late penalties, let's just say, right, they also get distributed to all the other active miners in the ecosystem. So royalty receiver is not in competition for yield. In a way, it's coexistent with others, but because it has all the inflows from NFTs purchases, is just a bigger player that can be burning more and can be rewarding or distributing rewards a lot more to all the active miners should there is a delay to clear or end miners here. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's the way I see this is a bit of a positive feedback loop, because whenever people are buying GenFTs to perform functions, a percentage of the purchase fee goes into the royalty receiver. People are then burning GenFTs to subscribe, then burning GenFTs to stake that and receive their fee, and they're burning GenFTs to take the reward from the miner when it's ended, the 16%, 14%, which leads people back to the front door to buy more GenFTs, which puts more Genie into the royalty receiver.
And this is why buying packs on the cheap, if you were to take that as an economic vector for you in Genius ecosystem, just like somebody did with clearing the miners, just like somebody, stake their kind of like, or wanted to participate in summarization, or they want to do, release in shares, whatever you're kind of like, whatever you're interested in and you want to be good at, or you want to get good at, you're basically given another chance of doing that. And because of that velocity of short-term collateral miners, and because of that incentivization of 16% or 14%, is good for you, but it's also good for the Genius ecosystem. Because why? Every time you burn GNFTs, money goes back into the system, like you're saying, right? The positive feedback loop. More gets burned because there's a cost. The cost to deploy, the cost to subscribe, the cost to end, and there's going to be more cost on when we see other features like extension of the miner, like conversion of basic miners into advanced miners, like, for example, maybe scraping yield, right? Perhaps maybe even like whatever. So the economic kind of like your path in Genius may be as straightforward as just keep mining straight out, right? Buying Genius and mining, or it can involve 5 or 6 different other economies that you can participate in, and all of these economies burn Genius, which means what? Which means tokens get to be correctly economically destaged into deflation, as opposed to relying solely on inflation, um, as a primary means of getting your yield.
Yeah, and the way I see it is, the more functionality that these GenFTs give, you mentioned a few, scraping the yield, extending miners, whatever. The more functionality that the GenFTs have, the more people that will buy GenFTs from the contract, the more money that comes into the royalty receiver, and this loop goes on. So with that in mind, I would expect to see these numbers in the royalty receiver grow to a point where it's economically viable to pay the gas fee, take the percentage, the 16%. As soon as I see a percentage, as soon as 16% exceeds the gas fee, people would likely be calling that function, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we've been seeing this. This is the total kind of. So we have
I'm
the
going to cut in real
burn.
quick, Shades.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if anyone doesn't know, this is Jenny.best, and thank you, Shades, so much for putting this site with all the analytics and fun stuff that you've contributed onto this site for us. So yeah, that's Jenny.best. I'll have it in the ends video in the comments and description.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, so basically these are useful metrics on where the puck is going, so to speak, right? So there's the burn, the earn, and the fees. You know, we talked about the fees that go to OA beneficiary. We've got the earn that people are making with 16% now, but then is going to be 16 plus 14 as the economy starts rolling into, into ending those miners. And then the burn. Look at that burn, right? This is the and that's from like mid-August. We're hardly into September, so that's half a month, and you already have uh, I don't know, 56 million Genie burned, right? And these are daily participation. In the beginning, there was more because people were excited. There was novel, they wanted to try it out. Then somebody who was calculating how much they can make, look at that burn, look at this earn, right? So somebody was sitting there with the subscription and said, okay, well, that's economic enough for me to do that. And then maybe a smaller player came in here and do it. But then there are gaps when people either do not buy NFTs, or people who do not want to settle the smaller amount. It's just not economically viable for them. So you can kind of see that the total of earns and burns increases while people are actually calculating their odds of doing that. So that's the that's the perpetual nature of it, right? And I think you're right when you're saying that it's a positive feedback loop. You don't have to believe me. You can just start seeing the participation and what people do, and that's on Polygon, for example, right? Look at Avalanche, the cheaper one. So people, obviously, everybody kind of works in their own interest. If NFTs and Polygon cost twice as much as Avalanche, for example, right? And people want to buy them. If people want to buy more of them, that means more things to settle, more things to deploy, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
and the gap between the earn and the fees is an arbitrage, right?
exactly. That's exactly
So,
right.
I mean, we always see that if the yellow line is above the, what's it called, we'll call it cyan. If the yellow line is above the cyan, it's ultimately benevolence,
Um,
or potentially
those are fees.
miscalculation of
The
fees.
yellow's fees. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, what I'm saying is if the yellow is above the cyan, the participant is ultimately losing money.
And so they do, but remember there's this force thing. So essentially, if you are not getting paid, then your fees are going to be higher than what you're receiving because you're receiving the zero. Not a lot of people will be going for it. So I would expect that, with the breakdown of 23% going to the burn, I forgot what um, the actual breakdown is, but the, you will likely see the same sort of relationship between. I mean, you can have more or less of each, but they will be probably close to, like, one will be over another because the way it's set up. The
I would expect to see the same
Yeah,
throughout time because
yes,
ultimately, if your fees are higher than you earn, it won't happen.
it won't
Uh,
happen. And also the philosophical thing is that you're earning, but look what you're earning for. You're earning to give a chance to burn more. You're incentivized. Royalty receiver is not benevolent. Royalty receiver wants you to burn more. And for that, by spending your fees on the network, by calculating your odds, by getting more or less, of your earnings here. But don't forget what the goal for royalty receiver is the economy of burn. You're muted, Mitch.
Yeah,
You're muted.
I just said yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's really, really cool.
And you
So
see
Shay,
this. Go ahead. Yeah.
a question there. So just on the fees, you would need to have that liquid genie in your wallet for that burn. Is that correct?
No. So the genie is in the common pool of royalty receiver. You don't
Mhm.
need to spend anything except for the network fees.
It's the gas.
Right.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
incineration of your GenFT.
I'm sorry. Yes. I mean, of course. Yes. So, but it's not
Okay.
in the form of Genius, free liquid Genius. It's in the form of NFT.
Mhm.
But yes, you're right. To buy an NFT pack to unwrap it, you'd have to spend Genius now, or when the collateral vault gets updated, then you'd have, the entire kind of like you'd have DAI, you'd have USDC, you'd have everything that is
Yeah.
there. But for now, you do need to have Liquid Genie to buy NFT, but that's where your participation ends, sort of, with
Yeah.
Genius.
And there was a question in the Telegram group about why there's that amount that you have to have in your wallet. And the way I understand it, that amount that they talk about is going to the OA or the grantor, right?
So everything is driven to. You're talking about this balance, right, or what?
No. So if you had to buy a pack, you
Yes.
have to have a liquid amount of, I think it was 500 and what's it, quadruple five in your wallet, Genie, to buy a pack over and above the amount.
It depends on the
I
chain.
think I last bought on Pulse Chain for
Yeah. So
350k.
if you buy now, yeah. So it's
Oh,
44. Yeah. I mean, with fees and everything, it'll be a little bit more than 500,000, of course, on some of the chains here. But yeah, so that gives you what Booster Pack gives you 4 NFTs. So for that 4 NFTs, assuming you're subscribing for a week, right? That's
Mhm.
2. Plus you're deploying at least 2 times within that week. So that's 4. So you basically start calculating what that 500,000 genies give you in terms of opportunity to play with the royalty receiver for the next week.
so the message is to start stacking those
Yes.
Gen FTs, man, because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
if whoever's got the most ultimately can call that function the most, and obviously you expect that over time they're going to get more and more and more expensive.
Yeah. 100%.
I would say that it's going to be bottable once people start realizing that they can basically subscribe, I don't know, in perpetuity, just to have an opportunity to start burning more GNFTs. So if you have a price of GNFT goes up, right, maybe in a month or two, or maybe it already did go up after the new GNFTs came on board. Because remember, you could have bought your GNFT ultimate packs way before that for much cheaper on some chains. I think if you look at a different chain here, I don't know, Pulse chain, for example, right? I think you'd have, what's the cost there? 185, right? I'm not gonna do that, but essentially, eh, essentially you have a much cheaper entry point into that ecosystem. And so if you bought ultimate packs, for a few million Genie, and now you start unwrapping them, right? As you either you do it as you need to, or you do it just so you start playing for the next year. So yeah, the idea becomes is that while everybody's sort of looking at it as collateral, or sorry, rarity or collectible, maybe your focus is to use them to play with miners and royalty receivers.
Yeah,
And
that makes
I would also say, you mentioned before about bots. So I bring it on because they're going to buy NFTs.
Mhm.
They're going to buy them and burn them, and burn Genie. So the more that is botted, a small percentage between the fees and the earn, if that's botted, obviously, yeah, it's more difficult for market participants or individuals to call those functions, but really they're acting in the yeah, they're making an income in whatever they call against, whether it's Genie, whether it's DAI, whatever. But ultimately, they're buying NFTs, burning Genie to perform that ARB. So it's positive, whichever way you look at it, for the economy.
For sure, and I think it's going to be similar to. By the way, this is the summarization economy chart. Every day, to get your yield tallied to your miner, somebody has to come in and basically summarize the day for you. Or you have to do it for yourself once you deploy the miner, whatever the case may be. Those gaps in here are the non-economic times for. The reason why I'm picking on Ethereum is because it's is the most expensive one in terms of fees, and so you can see that arbitrage here. But don't make no mistake, there is a bot that basically calculates that they should not come in and do anything here. They should not come in and do anything here. But look at this. Look at the bot that basically says, I'm going to come in the next day and do twice as much, right? Or if you go to it's not very visible here. I think it's better than Avalanche. Look how consistent clearance or summarization is on cheaper chains, Avalanche, or if you take Polygon. Here's another thing. Somebody did not come in and do anything here, but then the next day they got twice as much. I believe that once you get into the royalties, you'd probably see similar thing. You'd probably see people basically like doing arbitrage not only within the same chain, but because we came in and said, okay, on Pulse chain right now it's 185, and the other chain is 444. That's at least twice the price for you to get a booster pack. Now the question becomes, if genius is genius on any other chain, why do you care where to interact with royalty receivers as long as your 16% gets paid to you? So there is arbitrage that happens within the chain, but I think the arbitrage is also going to happen between the chains.
16% is 16%, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Shades, can we delve back into the screen on the royalty management one more time there? Just another area I wanted to pick your brain on. Yeah, so if you check out above where you were talking about earlier, above Genie, so scroll down where it says NT refund. What exactly would that mean then?
I think it's the native token refund. I don't think it's been discussed. I don't see it in the code, at least. So Genius is a little bit strange in that half of it is closed source, the other and half of it is open source. So whatever we can glean from the code that has been posted. I can talk about, the rest is probably Robert's questions.
Right.
But I mean, we can definitely ask what that is. I think just like in collateral vault, when you overpay, I think there is a refund that goes to you. I don't necessarily know what that means in the context of GNFTs or royalty receiver just yet, right?
Okay.
But I think it has something to do with that feature of refunding of some form of fees back into royalty receiver, much like you would, because remember, royalty receiver is just one wallet, i.e.
Yeah.
it's a contract, but there's not like hundreds of people trying to deploy their own miners, and therefore they have their own kind of like refund address, which is their own wallet address. Well, here, the only observation I can see is that the refund is zero, which
Mhm.
null address, which means the refund that would have been given to you if you were a collateral vault miner, a regular one, would have gone to your wallet. Here it's going to get burned, right? Again,
Right.
to that philosophy of sustaining, the economy of burn.
Okay.
And I'm
And
pretty
then,
sure. Go ahead.
oh, finish up, and then I got another question on that section.
No, I'm pretty sure that, again, my pretty sure is just based on historical things, but
Yeah.
um you see what's happening with GNFTs, you see what's happening with the vault. We're building a framework to be easily extensible during like live, not, the upgrade that is going right now. The my thing why it's going so long is because it's migration between a product into a framework. They can build other products without kind of taking things offline, and because of that, all these addresses, I think they can be modified by the OAB or somebody who can call on the
Mhm.
contract. And there is nothing that says that the refund is going to stay burned. Maybe it's going to go into a treasure of some kind in a later time, right? Or it's going to go into some form of, other accrual product. So, um, the sort of the forest for the trees is that the economy is one, but also the flexibility that the GNFTs bring to the system. And so all these addresses would have to be kind of be managed, or at least allowed to be managed. Because like look at the BUSD, what's going to happen with BUSD in 2024 when Binance says, "Oh, we're not going to support you, right? We're just going to kill BUSD. We don't like it, whatever the regulatory issues are." Well, what do you do with a product that is
Mhm.
immutable, that sits there for the next 12 years, right? You got to be
Yeah.
able to change that. So basically, my long-winded answer is that every single thing is made there for a reason, and I think a lot of it is just subject to change where the rewards are going to.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. So it's future proof.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so the next question then is you were talking about the miners. So if you look above that NT refund section, and you've got one miner that says to end. Yeah, all right. So would that essentially also be maybe there's 10 miners or 5 miners, and then you would scroll down again and say you want to inspect 5 of the 10. Is that what that would mean, or is there always only going to be one minor ending?
No, it's going to be a first in, first out. Like if I'm deploying 90-day miners for the 5 days
Mhm.
straight in 90 days, or yeah, in 90 days, I'm going to have 5 miners that are rolling off the assembly line, right? And you're gonna
Mhm.
have total minus 5, and then next month, you want to. I don't think you can do auto sync miner end, but you can do 1 and 2. And let's say you like the first 3. The first 2 are genius miners, and the third one is the die miner. So you'd basically say,
Right.
something like this.
Yeah. You add those in their mining once you've
Yeah.
inspected them. You
hmm
like the look of it. Okay, cool. That makes
and
sense.
and what happens though is, you have to be mindful of the fees because you're ending 3 now.
Yeah.
So your NFTs have to, the cost of NFTs have to come and play, and then cost of network has to come and play, and also, the viability of the size of the miners once you expect them have to come into play. So the bots, coming back to that previous conversation on the bots, they will have to be a lot more smart, in terms of what they want to do. If they just want to, hey, monkey see, monkey do, that's one thing. But if you really want to kind of like make money on it, you need to calculate your odds of getting positive return.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I have a deeper understanding for this, and I'm going to play around with this. I actually think when we're done with this stream, I might just continue a separate stream and start opening some of my packs and playing around with looking at the royalty receiver. Really appreciate the deep dive, Shades.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Definitely, Shades. It's really helped a lot, and I think a lot of these streams are going to help many more people out there to understand the ecosystem and how complex and genius it really is.
I totally agree. And this, to me, the way I see this functionality in the royalty receipt, it's essentially a side burn of Genius. It's a positive feedback loop of burn. Is this whole ecosystem? Yeah, it's earn and burn.
Yep. Yeah. This is the reason why this is front and center. The economy is a circular thing. It just feeds off of each other, and it just has a lot more interfaces into it. But ultimately, you've got the AI, which is spread between Collateral Vault and the policies that it, it and other things in the miners. Because remember, active miners are the sole benefit. They're beneficiaries of every single penalty and every single burn that is happening. So staying in miners is a lot more beneficial than just holding Liquid Genie. And we've seen that up to 70% of people are actually up to 70% of liquid supply is actually staked out or mined, right? That's my view of where Genius is going. It's no longer just a store of value. It's no longer just a token that you mine. It is all the other things that intelligently, tokenomically, and technically feed into your own yield. So by encouraging and participating in the Genius economy, you make your own miners make more.
And you can also treat the royalty receiver as just an ongoing arb. You could live in there, buy your GenFTs as long as this is profitable.
Yeah.
Buy your GenFTs, kick off those miners, take your percentage, and just continue in that vein, which is just continuously burning the native token.
Great.
Ultimately, by the time this becomes, something that we all use daily, along with the Collateral Vault, the burn is going to be insane.
Yeah, the same is essentially was happening with the summarization tool. The question I had on that is I keep forgetting when the Genius Day begins, because you can only summarize around that time frame, correct?
Yeah, it's I want to say 3 something US Central Time.
Yeah, it's 4:44
Eastern.
Yeah.
Eastern. 4:44.
But
AM or PM?
PM. Yeah, it's PM. But you know what? The gaps that you're seeing with people not summarizing, if you're looking at earnings of your own miners, they may not be increasing. They may not be they may not be there until somebody summarizes. So what if there is a deadlock? Like, for example, the fees are so high or there is no interest for anybody to come in and summarize. Well, basically anybody who interacts with Genius contract, the first person to do it does forceful summarization. And so when you're deploying larger miners, or if you're deploying smaller miners, be mindful of the fact that you may be the one who is doing work for the system. So it's not as straightforward as, 345 comes in, it gets summarized and you move on, right? You may be the one who is summarizing for the past 10 days.
Right. Yeah.
So, not so much of a question, but an observation. The fact that you've put the royalty economy as the same size on this chart as the miner economy, the previous pie chart, literally the homepage right now where you just were, this here, have you purposely put the royalty economy as the same? Do you believe that the royalty economy is a similar impact on Genius as the miner economy?
Yes, but different ways. So miner economy is releasing shares and shut down miners.
I mean, I see the miner economy as the bedrock, or the main thing that users will be doing. Actually,
that would be miners in this case. I'm
yeah, I
thinking
mean,
more of,
literally from looking at the royalty economy on this call, I see that as a huge
oh yeah,
piece.
oh yeah, absolutely. And the reason being is, look, we never know who is going to come in and make money on royalties, because the price of the token is up. Like, you can deny memes, you can deny NFTs as something that you like. You can be completely like not into it, but there's a whole bunch of people who look at Bored Apes Yacht Club. What is the floor for that? Right? Look
Yeah.
how much money people spend on having
I,
NFTs.
I hate NFTs, by the way.
All right, so you're not playing in that
44,000
side.
floor at the moment.
But then look at the dilemma, though. So let's say I bought a
Yeah.
pack. I unpacked it, and I've got one mythic amped NFT and 2 commons, and I need three what do you call it? 3 GNFTs to be burned, right? Like, if I like NFTs, I'm not going to buy my burn my mythic amped. I want to keep it. So what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go buy another NFT pack.
Yeah.
That means I've
Yeah,
spent.
there's no functionality gained by the rarity of the NFT, right?
In here, they're all the same as far as what you're spending and burning.
Their power is the same, right?
Is the power is the same. Now you have rarity, and you have, so you've got unique. So if you go to NFT reference here, the white paper, there is a thing called base abilities, and you've got the unique abilities. The base abilities is what NFTs allow you to do. The subscription, they're not differentiated. They're not discriminated, let's just say, against the common NFTs versus mythic versus rare, whatever the case may be. NFT is an NFT for you to burn. However, nothing to say that in the future, depends where the economy is going, the rare ones will not give you 2 points for one, let's just say. We do not know
Right.
how they're going to work, but it's a dilemma, and that's what makes it interesting, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can always adjust the policy if you see that people who are way into NFTs, they cherish and love them for what they are, right? But let's just say,
Yeah, the NFT lovers can cherish the rarer ones.
yeah, exactly. And so
Those
if
that value the functionality of the contract can whatever throw them in. Give me that. Let me
Yeah.
scrape my miner. Let me perform X, Y, Z. We're not bothered about the rarity, but maybe in the future they do give some additional power or whatever.
exactly. So we'll have to see what it is. I think that, remember, the Collateral Vault can also accept Genius as 1-to-1. So maybe in the future there's going to be a way to do cross bridge miners,
Yeah.
over Collateral Vault, right? And
That'd be
so
cool.
you'd have to have arbitrage if you buy NFT packs on one side, and then you maybe affect your miners on the other side. I'm not saying it's going to get done. I'm just saying that there are interfaces being built in for some reason to be able to accept JNFT into more places than just one.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
So to summarize, buy your NFTs.
Yeah.
Buy
and keep
JNFTs and participate
keep the
in
amp.
economies. Yeah,
Oh,
participate.
the more you have now, the more powerful you become in the royalty economy later.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah, we're gonna
No,
change
I'm gonna.
people's views on NFTs to where, yeah, they're just like Shades was saying, it's a pass to get into a park. It's a pass to utilize Genius further.
Yeah.
And also by buying those NFT packs, you're helping to build the royalty section of the product, because you're sending Genie to the royalty receiver, and you're burning Genie, and that burn rate, as we see right there, is crazy.
So I'm gonna leave you guys with one chart here. It is the, notice the burn, which is the magenta, I guess, right here. How it's been going on at like 20-25% or 20-25 degree upslope, meeting with the collateral that is being locked, right? Imagine that this burn right here is going to be maybe double or even triple because of the GNFTs, because of the royalty economy that gets in a way, right? It basically gets in the way of burning. Well, I mean, contributes to burning a lot more. So I think that royalty economy can be thought of an extension to what Collateral Vault has been doing. And obviously it's flat now, but once it's out, you're gonna have burn, double or triple.
I need to
So
buy more Genie.
That'll be fantastic.
What did
no,
we learn?
but
Buy
really
more
buy it for
Genie.
the right reason. Yeah. No, but anyway, I don't want to overextend my welcome. I think we're an hour and a half here.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yep.
if, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Shades. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Chrissy. Thanks
That's
for
awesome,
everyone's time.
guys.
You guys are always welcome on the stream, and you know how to get in touch with me to schedule. As always, you guys are amazing. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And
Yep.
till next time.
Thank you
Yeah.
all very
Till
much.
next time.
Have a good
Live
Cheers,
weekend.
long
guys.
and prosper.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone, again for viewing, for checking out the channel, and going through all the kinks and the weird stuff while I'm getting used to getting comfortable here on YouTube. I'm having a great time. Get to know you guys more. Get some new viewers, new people in the space, and even those that I already know that's part of the Genius community. You guys are amazing. Well, let's go ahead and play with some of my ending stuff here. Like and subscribe. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Radical Retro. This one's spooky. Guys, I have 37 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button. Let's get the subscribers up. Let's do this. Thanks again.